What's up, you guys? This is Luke with Dark Fiction Factory. Today we are asking the question, is Masterclass worth it for writers? Now, I can't give you the definitive answer, but I can definitely give you my opinion as someone who has used it quite extensively. So I assume if you're clicking on this video, you probably already know what Masterclass is, but if you don't know, you might have seen the ads around. It's basically people who are very successful in their fields, celebrities, people you might even know or recognize. They are teaching these classes. So we're going to be focusing just on writing today. So you have the Neil Gaimans, you have Margaret Atwoods, you have James Patterson, some big names and some other writers that you might not recognize, but they all have their own courses on the website. So the courses are a series of videos anywhere from like 5 to maybe 15, 20 minutes. Sometimes there's about 10 in a series, sometimes there's more like 15 videos. So it's basically an online class taught by experts. Now the question is it worth it? I would say absolutely yes, but with one caveat. Like everything else, you will get out of it what you put into it. So these courses include a little workbook that you can download that sort of briefly summarizes each chapter, but it also gives you exercises, writing, exercises that you can do on your own to try to practice what you've learned in the classes. So if you're just going to sit and watch the videos and then move on with your life, maybe it's not for you. But if you're willing to dig in and do the work and, step outside of your comfort zone a little bit and do the exercises that the instructors are giving you, then I think you'll get a lot out of it. And not only that, but I know in my own personal experience, by the time I was done, I had a bunch of short stories, ideas, poems, all these little projects. So doing the exercises will not only help you learn a little bit more with hands-on training, but it will also give you some projects to kind of see through when you're done, which is huge. And you really have to come at this with what they call like a beginner's mind, right? You have to be able to come into this knowing that you're not an expert. And even if you are an advanced writer, I think there's a lot you can get from this. These are people who are very successful in the field, have published many books. So their lessons are very valuable because they obviously know what they're doing. So again, even if you're a little bit more of an advanced writer and you think you know a lot, and do I really need to take a master class? Trust me, you will learn so much from these classes that you didn't know. Because if you think you know everything there is to know about a subject, something like writing, you're really just handcuffing yourself because there's always more to learn. Now, where to start? Personally, I started with Neil Gaiman and Margaret Atwood. Those were two of the writers that I recognized, that I knew some of their work. There's a bunch of writing videos on there that are just labeled, creative writing, the art of writing, fiction writing. And I feel like those are a good place to start. It gets your feet wet. It gives you kind of a broad kind of overview of the writing process. So that was a really good place to start. But going back to the sort of beginner's mind, I think it's important to look for areas that maybe you need help in. It's easy to learn things that you already feel comfortable doing, but maybe step outside of your comfort zone a little bit. So for instance, in my own work, I don't do a lot of comedy in my writing. So I decided to take the comedy writing class with David Sedaris, who I didn't even know who he was before I took the class, but it was very entertaining, it was very informative, and I felt like I learned a ton. Another one that I took to sort of get out of my comfort zone was poetry writing with Billy Collins. And that was fantastic. And I'll tell you what, I'm not much of a poetry reader, I'm not much of a poetry writer, but that really opened my eyes to a lot of ways that I could help my fiction writing. So I think it's important to look through all the different classes and take ones that do sort of push you, out of your area a little bit, push you into a new area, and it will make what you are used to doing that much better for it. Hey, I'm writing poetry now. I never thought I'd be writing poetry. But yeah, so whether it's comedy and poetry, mystery and thriller, writing for a young audience with R.L. Stine, there's writing for television or for screenwriting, there's fantasy, science fiction, there's even writing for social change and things like that. So Masterclass has a very diverse range of writing for you to soak in and learn from this program. If there's any downside, I would say some of the instructors do feel a bit full of themselves, but again, hey, they're successful. They're the ones that are selling this. They're the ones that are putting in the time to make these classes. So maybe they've earned the right to be a little full of themselves. One of the things I didn't really like though as much about the class was sometimes the instructor will sort of read either a short passage or a full story as an example of something they're trying to teach. And I understand that giving examples is very valuable, and it is at times, But there are some classes where there might be a full like 15-minute video of just the instructor reading a story. Like, I'm going to read this to you to give as an example of what I'm talking about. It just kind of goes on and on and on. And that sort of bored me. I did skip over a few little lessons that seemed like it was just the author reading, especially if they're just reading their own work. That gets a little tedious at times, but it's not a huge gripe. But a lot of the examples they use, especially the shorter ones to drive home their points, they really do work. Just some of them go on a little bit too long, I think. Okay, now down to brass tacks. What does it cost? Now, at the time of this video, of course that could change, the annual membership is $180 a year. So that works out to about $15 a month. It gives you unlimited access to all the classes, any new classes that are added. Although I haven't seen a whole bunch of new writing classes added recently. I'm almost through all of them. So if I do get through all of them, then I guess, I probably won't keep the service anymore. So yeah, it's a little pricey, but I like to think of it like paying for a college course. And if you think of it in that context, $15 a month is really not too bad compared to what you would pay to actually go to even like a community college and take your writing course. And besides, you probably spend more than $15 a month on coffee or fast food or plenty of things that you spend money on and you don't even think twice about it. So why think twice about investing in yourself and trying to learn a skill or sharpen a skill, especially if you really want to take writing seriously and try to make it some sort of a career? I think $15 a month is well within the range of what is worth spending. Because at the end of the day, you're investing in yourself. If you're not willing to invest $15 a month in yourself to become a writer, then maybe you don't really want to become a writer, to be honest. But to sum it up, again, I really recommend Masterclass if you're going to really dive in, really pay attention, take notes during the videos, pause the video, process it in your mind, think it out loud, read the workbooks, do the exercises, finish what you start in those exercises so you have some finished projects to show when you're done. And I think this program can really help you become a much better, more well-rounded writer. And on a little side note, there are tons of other programs. Whether you're into cooking, you can take a master class with Gordon Ramsay. There's skateboarding with Tony Hawk. There's acting. There's so many things here that you can dive into. So even if you're only getting it for writing, you might be able to find some other classes that really interest you to get the most bang for your buck. But that's about it. Those are my thoughts on Masterclass. You guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully this was a little informative and a little helpful. Just remember, have that beginner's mind. Always try to be learning. Always try to be learning new things. That's the only way to get better. But if you guys have taken Masterclass, or if you're thinking about it, or if you have any thoughts on Masterclass, feel free to drop a comment below. If you guys want to check out my content, you can see some of it here on our YouTube channel, or head over to darkfictionfactory.com where we have a bunch of short stories. But anyway, that's it for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this was helpful. Until next time, peace.